Hello, and welcome to the most prestigious, meaningful, downright electrifying award show in the history of college football. Scratch that. In the history of sports. Everybody strap onto your seats. It's going to be a wild ride for your first annual 0and0y Awards show.
Welcome back, capital F football fans, to the O&O Sports YouTube channel. Today we are going over our finalists and winners for the first annual O&O Awards, the most prestigious award show in all of capital F football. We have 10 awards we're giving out this year, voted on by our trusted team of voters, as well as you, the viewer, via our community tab. As always, if you enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's dive into how exactly this is going to work. Like I said, we have 10 trusted voters who will be voting on each award. In the scenario of a tie, the winner of the award will be decided on by the O&O Sports fan vote. Each award has 3 finalists and only one can win. So let's jump into our first award of the evening, the Freshman of the Year Award. This award will be given to the best true freshman player on offense or defense in all of the 2024 season. Let's look at your finalists, starting with defensive end Dylan Stewart of South Carolina, the 15th ranked prospect out of the class of 2024, hailing from America's capital, Washington, D.C. And for the Gamecocks this year, he had 17 solo tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, a pass defense, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Pretty great numbers there, and he helped lead that South Carolina defense to a very surprisingly dominant season. Gonna be hard to beat that in all honesty. But next, we have wide receiver Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State. We all knew he would be here. He was the #1 overall player for the class of 2024 coming out of Opelika, Florida, and he showed us why this year, wrecking in 71 receptions for 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, and over 17 yards per reception. Elite of elite numbers there for Smith. He's been a big factor in their postseason run this year, and that's going to make him the favorite here by far. But our next finalist will also have something to say about that. It's the defensive end from Texas, Colin Simmons, who was the 18th ranked player in the 2024 cycle out of Duncanville, Texas. He also played a big role in Texas' success on defense, logging 31 solo tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, an interception, 2 pass defenses, and 3 forced fumbles. He made a huge impact in year 1 of his career, just like our other finalists. These guys all could be all-time greats by the end of their college careers, and with that, let's find out who the winner is after all 10 votes have been counted. Your winner, with a whopping 8 of the 10 votes, is Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith. Truly an elite season for him this year, and he has a chance to put a ribbon on it in the national title game. Good luck, Mr. Smith. You are the O&O Sports Freshman of the Year. And now for our next award, it's going to be the Game of the Year. This is going to the most exciting, most thrilling game of the season, starting with the matchup that took 4 overtimes to complete, the Week 12 matchup between the Aggies of Texas A&M and the Tigers of Auburn. Over 930 yards of total offense, and this one was even almost all the way down the board. It was an exciting back and forth matchup that ended in a 43-41 Auburn victory. Great game late in the year, but let's take a look back to September, Week 5 of the regular season, with the game held between the bitter rivals of Alabama and Georgia. What a game this one was. Alabama goes up 30-7 at halftime, and it's looking like this one's all but over, but Georgia storms back to take the lead with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're up 34-33 when true freshman Ryan Williams delivers arguably the play of the year, the 75-yard touchdown to win it for Alabama. Over 1,000 yards of total offense, 4 Georgia turnovers, a safety. This one truly had it all. But for your last finalist for Game of the Year, what else could it be other than the Peach Bowl matchup between Texas and Arizona State, the double overtime New Year's thriller? In this one, it looked like all Texas all first half, but Arizona State came roaring back in the second, led by Cam Scatabo and Sam Levitt's superhero performances. They force it into overtime, where they have Texas backed up on a 4th and long when Quinn Ewers gets a huge huge pass to force yet another overtime in which Texas ends up winning. Amazing playoff game, one of the very few in those first 8 matchups. But with that, let's find out who the winner is. And again, with 8 out of the 10 votes, your winner for 0&0 Sports Game of the Year will be Texas versus Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. Deservedly so. That was an amazing game with a lot on the line. Shout out to both of those teams for giving us 2 amazing performances. And with that, let's jump into our next award. It's going to be the Breakout Player of the Year. This one is going to be awarded to the player with the biggest jump from last year or previous years to now, who made the biggest leap this year in the eyes of our voters. Let's find out who our finalists are, starting with quarterback LaNorris Sellers of South Carolina. We talked about Dylan Stewart earlier, who made a big impact as a freshman on that defense, but Sellers had as big of or even more of an impact as a redshirt freshman on that offense. This year, he completed 65.6% of his passes for 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with an additional 166 carries for 674 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. Like we said, a huge impact player for that Gamecock offense and really served well as the leader of that offense, not unlike our next finalist, quarterback Sam Leavitt of Arizona State. We talked about the impact he had on that Peach Bowl game earlier, but he made a huge impact for the Sun Devils all season long. In 2024, he completed 61.7% of his passes for 2,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, with an additional 110 carries for 443 yards on the ground and 5 rushing touchdowns. He had an amazing year in his first year as a starter. Him and Sellers are going to be very exciting players to watch going further, but a player who we will not be seeing more of at the college level, unfortunately, is our last finalist, running back Dylan Sampson of Tennessee. He was very good in his first 2 seasons with the Volunteers, but this year he absolutely exploded to become that conference's top back, like we predicted in the preseason. In 2024, he carried the ball 258 times for over 1,400 yards, 22 touchdowns with 5.8 yards per carry. Most of those stats being the SEC's best. He was absolutely phenomenal this year, and he pushed Tennessee all the way to the playoffs. Great year for him, but there can only be one winner here, folks. And after rigorously counting all of the votes, your winner for 0&0 Sports Breakout Player of the Year will be the quarterback out of South Carolina, LaNorris Sellers. Great year for him. He almost willed them to a playoff berth in his first season as a starter and surprised everyone by breaking out this year. Congratulations to him. And with that, let's move on to the Breakout Team of the Year. Like the last award, this will be awarded to the team with the biggest improvement from last year to this year. And with that, let's take a look at our finalists, starting of course with the Indiana Hoosiers, maybe the most unexpected team on this list. They go 3-9 in 2023, fire Tom Allen, hire Curt Cignetti from James Madison, and without skipping a beat, they go 11-2 with a playoff berth. That's the program's best season in its long history in year 1 under Curt Cignetti. We're excited to see what he can do for that program in the future, but first, let's look at our next finalist, the Arizona State Sun Devils, the co-winner of the Game of the Year award, and it's insane that they were able to make it all the way to the Peach Bowl after going 3-9 in Kenny Dillingham's first year in 2023. In year 2, he leads the Sun Devils to an 11-3 finish, playoff berth, and a Big 12 title. The best finish for Arizona State since 1996. Great year for Dillingham and his guys. And last in our finalists, it's going to be the SMU Mustangs. Now, what's funny about SMU is they had the same exact record overall and in conference as they did last year, 11-3 overall and undefeated in conference play. But the difference is they jumped from the AAC in 2023 to the ACC in 2024 and managed to pull that off at the Power 4 level when many people, including myself, doubted them a good bit this year. They end 2024 at 11-3 with a playoff berth and an ACC title appearance in their first year in the conference. Great year for them. Rhett Lashley has done a great job there, but now let's find out who will win this award. And after the closest count so far with 6 of the 10 votes, the winner for 0&0 Sports Breakout Team of the Year will be the Arizona State Sun Devils. Well deserved for the performances we saw from that team, and very excited to see where the youngest head coach in the Power 4 takes that team in the future. But with that, we have to move on to our next award, and it's a good one. Let's take a look at the DAWG Award. This is going to be awarded to the player with the most grit, who plays with the most passion, and who put their body on the line for for their team week in and week out. Basically, who's the biggest dog in college football. And your first finalist for this award is going to be the quarterback from Army, Bryson Daly. This guy was an animal for West Point this year. He completed 52% of his passes for 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, but carried the ball 310 times for 1,600 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, and 32 rushing touchdowns, which is the nation's best for rushing touchdowns. This guy took a beating at quarterback and delivered Army a 12-2 season with an AAC championship victory. Army's best season since 2018 and the best season ever in terms of wins. Amazing year for him and his team. But next we have running back Cam Skattebo from Arizona State. Arizona State's 4th mention in this video already. That goes to show the season they had. Spearheaded by this man, formerly of Sacramento State. On the year, he logged 293 carries for 1,700 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns, with an additional 45 receptions for 605 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. And for the fun of it, he went 1 of 2 passing for 42 yards and a touchdown. Truly a do-it-all kind of player for the Sun Devils this year, and probably even the spiritual leader of that offense. The world saw it against Texas, but us capital F football fans saw it all year long. He is your second finalist, and your last will be the tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren. And speaking of do-it-all guys, here's another one. On the year, he's tallied a staggering 104 receptions for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, 26 carries for 218 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he went 3 of 6 passing for 35 yards and a touchdown. Amazing year for Mr. Warren. He's going to make an NFL team very happy. Unfortunately for Drew Aller, he will not be back next year, and that is truly devastating for Penn State. His impact was felt all over that offense, and for that, he is your 3rd finalist for the 0and0 Sports DAWG Award. And with that, let's find out who your winner is of said award. And with all 10 votes being counted, your winner of the 0and0 Sports DAWG Award is running back Cam Skattebo of Arizona State. He racked in 7 of the 10 total votes. Absolutely amazing season for him. I think we all can agree there. But next, this award may end up being a little contentious. It is our Coach of the Year award. This one will go to the coach who did the best job leading their team to success in 2024. Let's take a look at the finalists, starting with Curt Cignetti of Indiana. Like we said earlier, best season in program history. Playoff berth, was a coin flip away from a Big Ten title game. Great season from him, coming off a decade of misery in Bloomington. Indiana ranked in the top 40 in total offense and 3rd in total defense, as well as going 11-2 overall and 8-1 in conference play. But next we have a new conference rival in Dan Lanning of Oregon. What a year it was for the Ducks. Didn't end the way they wanted it to, obviously, but still an incredible season led by Lanning, who we feel like is blossoming into an elite head coach. Oregon went 13-1 this season with a Big Ten title under their belt and a playoff berth. They went undefeated in the regular season and boasted a top 25 defense and a top 20 offense in 2024. Great year for both of those guys, but last for your finalists, it will be Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame. His 2024 campaign started off rough with a loss to Northern Illinois in week 2, but he willed his guys back into going undefeated the rest of the way en route to a playoff berth. They beat Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State to make the national title game, and they sit at 14-1 on the year. Could be 15-1 by Monday, but we'll have to wait and see there. They're currently top 20 in total offense and top 5 in total defense. And with that, let's find out who our winner is. And ladies and gentlemen, we have our first split decision of the night with 5 votes each for Marcus Freeman and Curt Cignetti. They are all knotted up, so like we said at the beginning, this will be decided by who finished higher in the fan vote, and by yet another close margin, the winner is Indiana's Curt Cignetti with 55% of the vote to Marcus Freeman's 44%. Great year for all 3 of the coaches, but Curt Cignetti is your 0and0 Sports Coach of the Year. And next up in our award show, it will be the Offensive Player of the Year. This award, of course, will go to the player with the best offensive output for the 2024 season. And to take a look at your finalists, first we have none other than the running back Ashton Jeanty JT of Boise State, and he's going to be the front runner here, folks, no pun intended. For the year 2024, he finished with 374 carries for 2,600 yards, 7 yards per carry, 29 touchdowns. He was a first-team All-American, easily one of the best players in all of football this year. Historic season for the man they call Michael Myers. He was slashing up defenses all year, not unlike our next finalist, quarterback Cam Ward of Miami. He was absolutely phenomenal for the Hurricanes this year, nearly led that team to an ACC title and playoff berth, but came up just short. But he did still have an amazing year, completing 67% of his passes for 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions with a 172.2 passer efficiency rating. I'm out of breath just reading those numbers. Amazing stats there. He was also a first-team All-American, and he had one of the best statistical seasons in the country this year, and he made it look easy. If we had a nonchalant award, he'd easily be the favorite, but he'll have to settle for Offensive Player of the Year finalist. And so will our last finalist, quarterback Shedeur Sanders of Colorado. He absolutely loaded the stat sheet this year. He finished best in the Big 12 in virtually every passing statistic you can think of, led the nation in completion percentage at 74% with 4,100 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Incredible year for him, and he led that Colorado offense to a great season, finishing 9-4, the best Colorado has seen since 2016. Amazing season for him and for all of those guys, but let's see who will win this award. And with all 10 of our votes counted, all 10 will be awarded to your winner, Ashton JT, your unanimous 0&0 Sports Offensive Player of the Year. That makes a lot of sense to us. Shattered records, shattered dreams, and he'll be taking home this award. Congratulations, Mr. JT. And for your next award, we'll be looking at our Defensive Player of the Year, go figure. Like the last award, will be given to the player with the best defensive output in all of college football in the year 2024. So let's meet our finalists, starting with Abdul Carter of Penn State, who was an absolute phenom this season, racking up 43 solo tackles, a national best 24 tackles for loss, 12 sacks, 4 pass defenses, and 2 forced fumbles. Absolutely amazing season from him. If I'm an NFL GM and I have the first pick, I'd find it really hard to pass up on this guy. He's been one of the best edge rushers we've seen in a long time, and that's why he's your first finalist for this award, followed by another edge rusher in Kyle Kennard of South Carolina, a fellow All-American alongside Abdul Carter, and your SEC Defensive Player of the Year. On the year, he logged 20 solo tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, a pass defense, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. He was an absolute animal on the edge. Along your Freshman of the Year finalist, Dylan Stewart, he raked in an SEC best in sacks and was a quarterback punisher this year. He will be sorely missed by Gamecock fans everywhere, but your last finalist for this award will be Caleb Downs of Ohio State, one of the most versatile players in all of college football this year. He finished the year with 44 solo tackles, 8 tackles for loss, a half a sack, 2 interceptions, and 6 pass defenses. He served as a safety linebacker hybrid for Ohio State this season, and his presence was felt everywhere on that defense, in the backfield, at the line of scrimmage, in the secondary, you name it, he covered it, and that is why he is your third finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year award. And with that, let's find out who our winner is. And out of 10 votes, your winner brought in 6, winning by a majority vote, and that player is Penn State's Abdul Carter. Like we said, maybe the most coveted player at the next level, potentially the top player overall in our awards, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's jump into our second to last award of the evening, and these last 2 are going to be the biggest of the night, the most prestigious awards in all of college football. Forget a national title. This is what every team and player should be vying for every year. And if you made it this far, be sure to hit like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And without further ado, let's look at our finalists for the 2024 Capital T Team of the Year. The first being the Ohio State Buckeyes. They already have the freshman of the year in Jeremiah Smith, but can they bring home the gold? Let's look at their season. 10-2 in the regular season, lost to rival Michigan, but still managed to get a playoff berth, and from then on out, it was lights out. 42-17 over Tennessee, 41-21 in their rematch versus Oregon, and 28-14 versus Texas. What a redemption arc it has been for them, and they're on the cusp of a national title. Currently, they sit at 13-2, and they manage a top 5 offense and the #1 overall defense. Stellar season for the Buckeyes, and next we have their national championship opponents, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Head coach Marcus Freeman, of course, was one of our finalists for Coach of the Year. He's led them to an incredible 14-1 record this year with only one real slip up in week 2. Like we said earlier, they put that behind them to get here. And last in your finalists, it is the Oregon Ducks. Their head coach also came up just short in our Coach of the Year finalists. Still a great year for them overall. Like we said earlier, Big Ten title, 13-1 finish, probably finish in the top 5 in Lanning's 3rd year with the team. Amazing year for him and his players, and an amazing year for all of these teams. We still have to see how 2 of these teams finish, but for now, let's look at what our voters think. As always, 10 votes to go around, and once again, our winner has 6 of those 10 votes. That means your 0-0 Sports capital T team of the year is the Ohio State Buckeyes. What a season it's been for them. Earlier in the week, we projected them to win the national championship, and we also did that before the season and before the playoff. Not to brag or anything, but congratulations to Ohio State, and good luck to both Ohio State and Notre Dame in the game on Monday. And without further ado, let's look at the final award of the evening. It is the capital P Player of the Year, of course, being awarded to the best overall player in all of college football this season. This is the award of all awards, folks. And let's take a look at our finalists, starting with the running back Ashton Jeanty from Boise State. Great stats, as you can see, and as we've already gone over in this video, he leads Boise State to a Mountain West title and a playoff berth, and he comes up just shy of Barry Sanders' all-time rushing record. He finishes at 2nd in rushing yards in a single season. Historic feat for him, and following him, we have the wide receiver and defensive back Travis Hunter of Colorado. Incredible season he's had this year, going both ways for the Buffaloes. We won't insult you with snap counts, but on the year, he raked in 96 receptions for over 1,200 yards, 13.1 yards per reception, and 15 receiving touchdowns. And on defense, raked in 25 solo tackles, a tackle for loss, 4 interceptions, 11 pass defenses, and a forced fumble that actually ended up sealing a game for the Buffaloes this year. Amazing stats there. He ended up winning another award that's less important than this one, and we can see why. His ability to be at the top of the country at both defensive back and wide receiver is something we haven't seen in a long time. Incredibly versatile player. And for your last finalist, it's going to be your defensive player of the year, Abdul Carter of Penn State. We alluded to it earlier, but he is the defensive player of the year. He's got to be up for capital P player of the year. Like we said, absolute phenom. He was one of the brightest spots on that team this year, especially in their semifinal matchup versus Notre Dame, where he had 3 solo tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and a pass defense all by himself. What more can we say about him or any of these guys? Absolute cream of the crop, top tier of college football and in our awards. And with that, let's find out who will win. And with all 10 votes entered, the winner is conclusive. This player has 7 of the 10 votes, and that is, drum roll please, Ashton Jeanty from the great Boise State Broncos. Historic season for the young running back, and he's going to make history once again as he is your first ever 0-0 Sports capital P Player of the Year. Congratulations to Ashton Jeanty, and congratulations to all the players, coaches, and teams we mentioned in these awards. It's been a great season, and we have only you guys to thank for that. So let's all thank them and thank you for watching. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to share with some of your loved ones, your friend, your girlfriend, your sister, your mom, your uncle, your niece, your nephew, anybody you can think of. It helps us out a lot, and we will see you in the next video.